Hey guys, welcome back to another video. For today, we'll be discussing something that is based around nostalgia. More specifically, the olden days of YouTube. Now, from 2005 to as long as maybe 2012 or 2013, I would consider to be some of the earliest days of YouTube. Back when it was completely independent and it didn't always bend the knee to corporations and companies and sponsorships, and you could actually post and say and do whatever you wanted on YouTube. You could actually broadcast yourself. But since at least 2013, since Susan Wazowski was hired as the CEO of YouTube, things have gone right down the tubes. So, in today's video, we're going to look back at a time that once was. Not just based on YouTube, but also based on some of the cultural phenomenons that happened regarding YouTube culture back in the earlier days of the platform. First one up. Corpse Husband was a story time teller, more specifically a true horror story time teller. From 2016 to 2019, Corpse Husband basically did what someone like Mr. Nightmare, someone he actually collaborated with during this time period, post on his YouTube channel. Mr. Nightmare style content of true horror stories. These are horror stories that really happened to people, and he would read them out loud. By far, his best piece of work was him reading a Reddit story called "I Hired a Hitman on Myself." It is phenomenal, and sadly, he took it down. But before he did, it was literally his most viewed video before he went into the modern day transition of making hip hop music on Spotify, hanging out with Twitch streamers, YouTubers, sitting members of Congress, on live streams. It's actually crazy to just think about what 1 year did to this guy. And I'm very happy for the success he has today. But it's absolutely true. The "I hired a hitman on myself" story is by far his best piece of work when it comes to his time as a story time teller, because it is, I really do believe it with all my heart. That is the best piece of content he made during that time period. I haven't kept up to date as to what he's doing today, but regardless, I hope he is doing well, and I hope that his condition, at the bare minimum, either has hope of getting better, or it already is, getting better. I'm not someone who's a doctor. I'm not educated on the subject, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm educated on the subject, but Corpse Husband at one point was nothing more than a storytime teller, and the only way you would know that is if you watched his videos during that time period, because before 2020, when he really boomed, you probably would not have known who this guy was. He only had about 1 million subscribers, and today he has like almost 10 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, which again is outright insane, and it just shows how big of a celebrity he's become since 2020. I mean, it's congratulations to you, man. It's crazy. So I'm going to stop fawning over him, and let's just move on to the next YouTuber who's changed in the years since I started getting hooked on this website. Next one up, Moist Critical only did game reviews and gameplays. So before he became the lovable commentary Charlie that we all know and love today, Moist Critical used to just do either gameplays or game reviews. And I didn't really watch too many of these videos. If anything, I barely watched any of them before he became the well-known commentator that we all associate, the word Moist Critical with today. But yeah, in the earlier days, he wasn't that person. As a matter of fact, he openly has, told his fans in the past that he goes as far back as the old Justin TV days, back in the way earlier days of the internet, way earlier days. I thought he started somewhere outside of YouTube, but I don't think so. I think he did start on YouTube, and then he went to Justin.tv, and slowly but surely he became the commentator that we all know and love today. I don't have too much to say about this because it's just something that I've noticed, because I swear I have watched some of those videos before he became the modern day Charlie. I swear Charlie's original gameplay videos I'm pretty sure some of the videos I ended up watching are now lost to time because he recently tried getting some of his fans to find his old not commentary, sorry, old gameplay videos in exchange for about, I thought it was $25,000 because he was so confident that no one would ever find it. He nearly got fooled at one point, but no, I don't think anyone will ever be able to find it today because, it's lost media. It's not like lost media can't be found, but you're going to have to basically dedicate the equivalent of like 3-4 years of your life just to find one credible link to those old pieces of content. So I doubt anyone will find, those old videos of him just casually playing Call of Duty. Next up is Some Ordinary Gamer, or as many of you may know him as Mudahar. He used to read creepypastas. Now, if you try to find these types of videos on his channel today, they are more likely than not either unlisted, privated, or they're completely deleted from the channel. But thankfully, someone re-uploaded almost the entire playlist that used to exist on his channel at one point of him reading creepypastas. These included some of the most famous creepypastas the internet has come to know: Squidward's Suicide, Sonic.exe, Jeff the Killer, Slenderman. There were also some interesting ones like the missing Gumball episode. Sorry, not missing Gumball. Sorry, lost Gumball episode, and the security camera footage creepypasta. That one was really interesting to me. He used to be a huge critic of creepypastas, but he would usually read them word for word. And I legitimately, as like a 13, 14-year-old, I just enjoyed listening to this guy read on about Sally.exe. While sometimes he would put like sarcastic text on the screen, and there was always that ominous music he used to play. It's honestly amazing that Mudahar, just like Moist Critical, kind of moved away from reading creepypastas and instead went into more of a commentary, into a commentary central future when it comes to his YouTube career. I mean, the Mudahar I hear today sounds nothing like the one I used to know in 2013, 2014 when he just read creepypastas. And again, it's not like I'm going to complain about it. I think that his content is much better than what it was back then. But there are of course times when the nostalgia bug kind of bites you and you're like, I really want to hear Mudahar, read another creepypasta. It's kind of like how I really hope maybe someday Corpse Husband uploads another one, true story time video. But just like with Corpse Husband, Mudahar doesn't seem very keen on ever going back to what he used to do. And it's not like I blame him. Because if he believes that commentary or just having casual talk with some of the friends he's made over the years around 2016 onwards is what's best for not just him but also for what he believes would be better for his YouTube audience and himself personally, then he has my full-fledged support. He shouldn't feel pressured at all just because someone like me wants him to go back to what he did in 2013, 2014. But it is interesting nonetheless now that I look back on those old videos. Even though they've been deleted, they've been re-uploaded by a YouTube channel. I'm hoping to make sure to remember to leave a link for that channel in the description below so you guys can check it out for yourselves. And, this is really all I have to say. He used to read creepypastas, and based on the content he makes now, it just, it doesn't really sound right. This guy used to make creepypastas. This next one is less about an individual YouTuber and more or less about something that is a current trend that just didn't exist back when I was really starting to get into YouTube. That is, of course, the phrase TikTok. That used to be associated with the sound a clock made. TikTok used to be a sound associated with a clock. And the only other time I could ever think of the word TikTok, the words TikTok next to each other, was the Kesha song TikTok. But, outside of those two examples, I can't think of another example where it wasn't associated with a very, very, very very popular form of social media as it is today. I don't really have much to say on this. This is just a bit of a, old man yells at clouds type of gripe I have, because really TikTok used to be a sound associated with the clock, and it used to be the name of a Kesha song, not where, yeah, God. Even though I'm a Gen Zer, TikTok makes me feel old, because it's just people do a lot more crazy shit on TikTok than they do on YouTube. I give YouTube a lot of crap sometimes, but I can at least take pleasure in knowing it could never stoop as low as someone who gets famous off of being handsome or cute on TikTok. This one also doesn't address an individual YouTuber, but it's very significant to the modern day YouTube landscape. Memes. More specifically, how they used to be. Memes were silly pictures with top and bottom text. Yeah, that P doesn't really look much like a P, it looks more like an R. But yeah, memes used to just be silly pictures on the internet, usually with they used to be called, I thought it was called motivational animals. Other times it was just humans, bad looking humans like Bad Luck Brian or Scumbag Steve. Usually it was those types of memes. Top text, bottom text. It was those type of memes. But today, memes have evolved pretty drastically. And I tweeted something out not too long ago about how 2016 was probably the year that changed everything. The earliest example of the modern day meme culture I could find, at least from my view, I could be wrong here, was a channel that has been defunct multiple times since at least 2017, and it goes by the name Emmy Soccer. Emmy Soccer has been kicked off of the YouTube platform for I don't really know. I never really found out the answer to that question, but I swear to God, Emmy Soccer created one of the first forms of modern day meme culture when he created dank meme compilations, and of course it became a huge subreddit. Later it became the compilations themselves became big. The subreddit that was named after the compilations got big. Of course, slowly but surely over the years, other meme content creators like Dr. Grande, Dull and Dark, Flying Kitty, they all started making their own forms of memes through what I would call YouTube poop tactics. I argue that all three of those people I just named use what I call YouTube poop tactics to basically make modern day meme culture. We call them meme edits nowadays, but really back in the day they used to just be called YouTube poop edits, because that really, in my opinion, is how modern day memes are made when it comes to YouTube memes. I could probably make this an entire video, and I'm going to keep that in mind for a future video. I'm going to make this entire segment into a future video. I have a lot more topics to cover, so I can't really keep going on and on and on about this topic. I need to kind of hurry it up within 2-3 minutes or so. But in a nutshell, they really did. Memes themselves used to just be silly pictures with top and bottom text. There are multiple different channels that have covered meme culture. Some have been deceased, like Behind the Meme. Others have been thriving, like Lessons in Meme Culture, who I highly recommend you check out. And that's all I have to say. Again, I'll turn this entire segment into a full-fledged video someday because it deserves its own video. So let's move on. Next one up, again, not really about a specific YouTuber. Instead, it's about what used to be as far as the YouTube culture goes. Gaming by far was the most common form of content. It's kind of like how nowadays Twitch is just nothing more than a cesspool of drama, reaction videos, really stealing people's content, including corporations' content. There's a whole controversy around that stuff. Reaction videos, drama, reality shows, gaming shows. Corporations are jumping on it. They're straight up live streaming some of these, live events that are happening, whether it's politics or sports events. It's a lot of things nowadays, but people seem to forget, just like with Twitch, that YouTube at one point was dominated by gaming. Whether it was YouTubers who were dedicated to playing games or just, there were entire channels dedicated to one specific game. We kind of seem to have forgotten, that at one point, if you wanted to survive and thrive on the old style, old classic style of YouTube, you had to be a gaming channel. Nowadays, you can just complain about whatever the hell you want, and you'll get famous if you just say it harsh enough. Oh, and also if you, repeatedly talk about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. But regardless, gaming was by far the most common form of content, and there is little room for debate or discussion in the opposite direction that it wasn't just gaming, because the only other thing that comes close to rivaling the views of what used to be, the usual gameplay videos of, hey guys, welcome back, we're playing Call of Duty, or we're playing Happy Wheels, or, we're playing Outlast or Amnesia, what the only thing that came close were music videos. While we're on the subject of gaming, Minecraft used to be hated. Now, it's not like everyone immediately looked at Minecraft as soon as it was released and went, this thing sucks. No, it immediately got a fan following. It got a pretty decent following for its earlier days from 2010 to 2013. Its first real popularity, or first real wave of popularity, took off when, some of the old school YouTubers like Tobuscus and PewDiePie, and I thought at one point Jacksepticeye used to play Minecraft. That one I could be wrong on, but many popular YouTubers during that time period started playing Minecraft, and they started having hours and hours and hours and hours racking up on these playlists, and surely, it started seeping into schools. I remember when I was in elementary school, when the game started first really catching traction, and kids my age, I would probably say 11, 12 years old, were all debating each other as to whether or not Minecraft lived up to the hype. And you should have seen some of these arguments. It was just, dude, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing that, that compared to today's fights in schools, this one I could probably say with confidence, compared by today's standards, those types of arguments were very civil compared to, today's type of school arguments, where probably you guys just, skip the talking and go straight to the fighting. Because if that was the mentality we had back then, that probably would have been the case for all those hot topics and debates around Minecraft. From 2014 to 2017, it started a slow and steady decline, but slowly but surely throughout 2018, memes started being incorporated into Minecraft, and this is my running theory. It gained a resurgence in 2018 because of all those memes that, were being associated with Minecraft about how Fortnite is not a good game, Minecraft's a good game, no, Roblox is a better game than Fortnite, all those memes that, for whatever reason, actually had a legitimate influence on people, and suddenly there was a massive resurgence in people playing Minecraft. And of course, fast forward to 2022, you have some of the more influential content creators like Tubbo, Tommyanna, Dream, all those people basically making Minecraft just as popular as it was, actually way more popular than it was in 2011, 2012. But unlike 2011 to 2012, there aren't as many people really that are objecting to the fact that Minecraft is a legitimately good and fun game. It's a fun, exciting game. You can literally just create anything you want, and it's unleashed one hell of a Pandora's box that the gaming community will never be able to shut. Moving back to the topic of YouTube personalities themselves, back in the olden days, these people were on top of the world. People like Fred Figglehorn, the Annoying Orange, Smosh, Ian and Anthony, Tobuscus, and PewDiePie. They used to be arguably, like, back in 2011, 2012, when people would ask you, what are some YouTubers you watch? These were all probably very common answers among people my age at that time, or even just people in general, because I know that Fred Figglehorn and the Annoying Orange were very, annoying to many people, but that was kind of like their whole personality, their whole character. Yeah, looking back, of course, as an adult, you understand why so many parents and just adults and even teenagers really just didn't like people like the Annoying Orange or Fred Figglehorn. But I mean, the truth is hard to get away from. At one point, these two were arguably in the top three of most subscribed YouTubers of all time. Smosh was up there for a decent amount of time. PewDiePie has always been the number one most subscribed YouTuber, and to this day, he still is the most subscribed to individual. But back then, he used to be the most subscribed YouTuber in the world. Nowadays, even though he is still the most subscribed to individual, he doesn't have the most subscribers of any channel anymore. All of that now belongs to corporations. Like most good things that spiral into the mainstream, they now belong to corporations. So that record of most subscribers to a YouTube channel now belongs to a random ass corporation that no actual sane person watches. So, with that little charade said, all these names, especially Tobuscus, because he was the one that really first pulled me into YouTube, they all bring back great memories. I remember the old food fight skits that Smosh used to upload as like a yearly tradition. I do remember the Annoying Orange and some of his older content, but I haven't watched him in like years. All I know is that he had a Cartoon Network show, and I never really watched it. Nor did I enjoy it when I ended up catching a glimpse of it. And it seems like Cartoon Network and its overall viewers didn't like the show either, to the point where they don't really mention it. And keep in mind, this is the same network that has openly admitted to giving shows to Secret Mountain Fort Awesome. That was the name of it. Secret Mountain Fort Awesome. So, yeah, if a network is so ashamed of the fact they gave you a TV show, it probably wasn't a good show. It was probably not a good show. And again, as already mentioned, PewDiePie has been on top for God knows how long. I would have to say at least 2013 in my opinion. Tobuscus has kind of fallen out of relevance as early as 2014, at least again from my perspective. But when he was on top of YouTube, it was just something to behold, because back then we didn't have all these modern day pranksters and what's up guys and cool sunglassy guys or hypergenic type of people. He was just really, at least when I was watching him in his golden years, he seemed like a down to earth guy who just liked having fun. But of course, he's kind of stopped uploading content, and the few times we've gotten a glimpse of where Tobuscus is at today, he's a very changed man, and not necessarily for the better. It seems like he's either still stuck in his glory days of the early 2010s, or he's making really offhanded comments that don't fit the remaining fans that have still followed him to this day, because the internet's changed ever since he first rose to popularity. And if you don't change with the internet, I mean, if you really want to have an internet career, you got to change with the internet. You can't stay behind and think you're going to make, the same amount of money, or at the bare minimum, the same amount of fans that you did in your earlier days than you will today. Like so many other things I've talked about throughout this video, he probably deserves a video all on his own, but there have been several channels that have already covered his downfall, so I don't know if I necessarily need to pile onto that conversation. But yeah, all these names, at least in my view, they all bring back some pretty good memories. Even Fred Figglehorn. I remember being the young, clueless kid that was first discovering YouTube, watching people like the Annoying Orange and Fred Figglehorn and going, gosh, I want to be like them. Of course, as an adult, I don't really want to be like them anymore. If anything, I've never really had that thought for years. Smosh eventually just became a full-blown company. Ian and Anthony famously left in 2016 and 17 respectively. Tobuscus just kind of stopped uploading videos altogether. And PewDiePie has kind of switched from gaming to commentary and reaction videos and, memes and parodies. And he basically does what most YouTubers do today. As I've been making this video throughout today, I've kind of realized just how much I've been rambling on and on about all these topics that I have here on the board. In the future, if you guys want it, I will make a part 2 to this video. It will basically just be called There Was a Time When Part 2. I mean, if you want a part 2 of this, please give me feedback. I'm looking for any type of feedback. You guys really do mean the world to me by watching this video. I know it's not the best high quality type of video that we're also used to today, but for those who sit down and take the time out of their day to watch my videos, I just want to say thank you. I really do appreciate you. I wish I could keep going on and on and on, but I don't really want to make 45 to hour long videos, so I'm choosing to just stop it here to prevent it from becoming even a 30-minute video, because I really don't have much to gain from it other than just literally blabbering on and on and on about stuff that only I really want to tell you guys, and I don't really want to waste that much time of your guys' day on stuff like this. So if you guys want a part 2, please let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'll even make a tweet and see if you guys want it in the near future. And hopefully by the end of the month, if you guys do say you would like it, hopefully by the end of the month I'll give you a part 2, and we'll keep going on this little train ride about what everything from YouTube to the internet to just the world in general used to be, and how quick time has really flown by in this world. Anyways, that's about it for this video. See you guys next Saturday, and have a good day.